Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's live stream. I'm Davi. I'm excited to be here with you today. In this session, we are going hands on to build and deploy our first smart contract on COTI blockchain using Foundry as our development framework. And now, with the help of Claude Code, using custom agents to help guide and speed up this process. We'll cover everything, let's say, from setting up our local environment and to write a simple smart contract that stores and reads messages to deploy it live on Code testnet, all with the help of the Cloud agents. And with the help of some agents that we created specifically for that purpose, that I will show you next. So we'll basically combine, the AI agents just to speed up in your learning in this process, and also to chip faster, right? I'm not doing this alone today. I'm joined by these amazing guests who will bring their own insights into this topic. So let me hand it over so each one of them can say a quick hello. So we can start uh, with Robert.
I
You are
think we
muted.
lost Robert for this.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Davi. Uh, yeah, it's going to work. Yeah, I'm curious to see the effects and the power of these sub-agents in the works. We've seen similar options, let's say, in previous broadcasts, and I'm curious to see how, in this case, specifically for Claude, how you're going to work with that. So, good luck today.
Good luck, Davi, Calvin, creator. I will be chiming in once in a while with some comments in there and questions.
Cool. Thanks. Thanks, everyone. Awesome to have you all here today. Right, let's dive in. But before, let me just talk briefly about the Cloud Code. Right, it's the tool that we're going to use today, and more specific about sub agents. So Cloud Code is basically a way to use the AI tools, but using CLI directly with the command line. So we don't need to go to a specific like browser to use it. You can use it with your terminal, and so it's really interesting if you are like a developer, because developer usually like, right, to use command line tools. And I will show you to you in a bit. And also I want to introduce something really interesting, that's the sub agents. So you can like create and use specific agents in Cloud Code for specific tasks. Like I will show you, for example, one sub agent that I created for, let's say, a front end engineer that's specialized in COTI blockchain, and also a blockchain engineer that's specialized in coding with the COTI blockchain. So, and that's the nice thing about the sub agents. We can delegate tasks to sub agents and ask the sub agents to do that tasks for you. And it's really cool, right? So it's something that you can find using the Cloud Code. And you can also take a look at the Anthropic documentation, because it's something, the Cloud is like Anthropic product. And you can take a look to, check out more information. How to quick start. It's also a really good way to start using it. Documentation is very easy, so you have enough to start with it. Just to give you a really quick introduction about the tools that we're going to use today. So basically, you can use any editor. I'm going to use like the cursor to start. But as I'm using the Cloud Code, I will start Cloud Code using the terminal. So it doesn't matter if you're using like a cursor or VS Code or Windsurf, because we're going to use exactly the specific AI that you start using it by command line.
Is there a limit on how many subagents you can have for Claude?
Uh, as far as I know, there's no limit. I
As long as you have the
actually,
tokens, right?
yeah, it depends. Yeah, it depends on the tokens, and actually, it's like a good thing, a good feature that we have with Claude Code is you can, for example, check the cost of the project that we are creating using the Claude Code in real time. I can just ask to see how much money I spent in this session. So at the end of the day, I can have exactly the real value, the real cost of the project that I created using. And it's interesting because I was playing with it yesterday, and it each time that it reached like $5, you got like an alert, just like alerting you that you already like spent $5, and that's
Okay,
really
so it's
interesting
warning
because
you. Yeah.
exactly.
I, I've used Chat GPT APIs before, and of course that one is like unlimited. It'll just burn through your wallet.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, and that's funny, right? As soon as you keep your budget, like you can control your budget, because it's really easy to spend a lot of money on it, since you are like asking things to do and consuming a lot of tokens. So yeah, so let's vibe into it. So let me share now my editor, so you can start coding. Just a few sec. Let me go to the cursor. Okay, probably you are already seeing my screen now. Yeah, yeah. So first thing first, let me explain the project here. In that case, I already created a prompt, right? I like to have like the prompt here in the project as a markdown file, because if I want to replicate this project in the future, I can just like copy and paste the original prompt, and then I can use it for that purpose. And also, I talked about the agents, the cloud agents. So here you can see a folder um, under Claude, that's agents. And it's actually like markdown files that you need to follow a specific standard. Like here I have the name and the description. I can also like create something like tools here and specify which tools I can use. I will talk about it later. But if you omit this keyword, you are saying, okay, you can use all tools available. So, and here I created like a private blockchain engineer, right? That's how you delegate a task to create smart contract. And a description, like use this agent when you need to develop a review or optimize like perhaps focused smart contracts, so specific for the COTI blockchain platform. And I can edit here all the context, right? Your core responsibilities, like a job description, right? You can like copy and paste like a job description here to tell the AI.
So
Yeah, go ahead, Robert.
no, so you wouldn't have to preload like a whole context for in case you running a new prompt for a project, as in because you can just select this personality basically of this
Yeah,
agent with
when we
with its
start
knowledge.
Claude, the Claude will load all the agents. So it's like a pre-context, right? It has a similar effect. If I, for example, set in V0 and Lovable, I showed in the previous live stream how to set the knowledgeable option. So you can copy and paste a pre-context. So it you, I mean, the tool will use that pre-context each time that you send a prompt. But in that case, it doesn't apply to all prompts because I need to reference the agent. So it's like, or we can also let the Cloud Code to decide each which agents to use based on the prompt. So it's similar behavior if you think about the MCPs. because the AI tool can use a different MCP to connect with external to the external world based on your prompt. So you can explicitly say, okay, use this agent to start coding my prompt. That's exactly what I did here with this prompt. Or you can just let the AI decides, right? But sometimes it can be right or wrong, depending how clear is your prompt. So let me start the Claude here. We can just like click, can just like type Claude, right? And that's the first thing you notice when we start Claude, that you need to trust, if you trust the files that you have in your folder. So okay, I trust it. And now I have some commands here that I can check. For example, agents is one of them. And as you can see, it already loads the COTI blockchain engineer, specialized that has like Foundry expertise, and the front-end privacy agents. That exactly the names of the agents that I created and I added in this agents folder. So it's already here. But I also can create a new agent if I want. I can just like press like hit enter here, and I can specify if I want to create a new agents. Um, with the inside the project context. I mean, inside my folder here in my project, or if it's something that I want to use in any project in my machine. So in that case, the location, the folder where the agents will be stored is different, to be available. I mean, in all sessions across all projects that you have. So just to
Sorry,
show you really,
wouldn't it be
right? Go
better
ahead.
to have just like to have the agent be available for all projects?
Yeah, depends. It depends. For example, if all the projects that you work is related to coding, for example, in my case, coding smart contract front end using COTI blockchain, you can just add it to the like a cross project context. Uh,
Ah,
but
okay.
if
So
you
sometimes
want,
some people don't work on just one chain. They can work on Ethereum, for example, right?
yeah, if you have like because uh, if if you for example select the option to make the agents available across all project, the cloud will load these agents for each project in each project that you work. And it doesn't make sense if you need this agent specific for a single project, for example. So it's something that it's up to the, I mean, to the developer to evaluate if it's something that they need to use. I mean, in every project, it's best to, I mean, add it to the like machine context. But that's also a good like advantage to use in a project because you can commit, I mean, in your repo, this file because it's under your Git folder, right? So you can versioning it. You can also create like sub modules, and I mean, isolate these agents in a specific repository. You can, for example, create a repository containing all the agents that you need, and you can link to this repository under your current. But it's like a more advanced use case, right? I don't want to overcomplicate much here, but yeah. If you decide to use it in your
And
project, it will
these
be available in your file project structure, right? So you can commit this and push this to the repository as well. Go ahead, Robert.
and these agents are also available in the repos you share as part of the
Yeah,
stream.
yeah. I will share this repo so everyone can clone it and start using it. Um, so yeah, is a good way to start, right? Because we already have some prompts to start and also some agents that you can use to start as well. And here in the agents, we have all the context, everything that the agent needs to know in order um, to code using, I mean, using privacy on COTI. And it's nice because you can also, I mean, change it later, adding more context to it based on lessons learned, right? If you created a project and something went wrong, you can add more instructions to the agents so that for the next time it can work well. So here I have some examples on how to use Foundry. That's like a development framework um, for EVM networks. So I can, for example, build contracts, test contracts, deploy contracts using Foundry. And here I have some useful or most common commands, and I'm teaching it to the agents exactly these commands based on the Foundry framework and how to deploy contracts. Some examples, code examples, success criteria, best practices. So stay current with documentation and some knowledge updates. Exactly some lessons learned that I have coding with the smart contracts, something that we need to remember each time that we deploy a contract. We can like concentrate all this knowledge inside the specific agent. So that's the whole idea, right? To use the agents to help us to create this smart contract. So let me go back here. So you just need to type Claude. If you don't have Claude yet, you can go to the Anthropic website. I'm not covering the installation of Claude today, just the use of it, but it's very simple, right? Um, so yeah, let's start with uh, this first prompt here. But just like to adjust here the screen. That's creating a smart contract. So the idea is to first create a smart contract so we can't sign a message, a private message, and then we can read this message from the contract using my account, right? And the second part, we are going to create a front end for that to connect with this contract so we can interact, right? Connect our MetaMask and sign the message and send it to blockchain as also and read this message after we store that in the smart contract. So I will start copy and pasting this first prompt. So create the simplest possible smart contract using Foundry with basically two functions, write and read, exactly that they need. Write to store a single message and read that we return the stored message. Avoiding adding tests for now because I want to save some tokens, right? When I ask to create tests, it's like create a lot. And but yeah, for production, for sure, it's a good practice to always create tests. So let me, I can type at, and here I can find, for example, the agents. So I will select the first one is the blockchain engineer Foundry, and I will paste this part here, right? As I mentioned, Claude is like Claude Code is a command line tool, right? So don't need to go to the website or install some different editor, things like that. And here I can see real time the tokens being consumed. Very cool. And also, let's see if I
Smooshing.
can see the plan first.
I like smooshing.
It's moving, right? Let's
May
wait.
I know, Davi, on average, how much do you spend a day with Claude
On
in dollars?
average, yesterday I spent $5. I mean, it's but it's I was using it a lot. I mean, let's say if you use it during your entire day, it will cost you at least $5 a day, right? It's not cheap, right? It's something that you need to take care where you are using it.
Yeah,
Uh,
so with of course with ChatGPT, we when it's less since we're not paying by the token, a lot um, it becomes a conversation, and you can fine tune the prompt uh, as you go, as the conversation goes along. But I imagine for Claude, it's more you have to get your prompt like intact before you even jump in to save costs, right?
Yeah, here I'm using existing prompt. I mean, the Cloud Code is specialized in coding, right? So it's different than ChatGPT that you can also ask
Yeah.
things that's other than code, but the whole idea of the Cloud Code is use it specifically for code. So I also use it like to improve prompts. I paste a prompt and ask the Cloud Code to improve it, but it's not like the main, the core, right, of this model. So, but yeah, I mean, $5 a day if you multiply it for, I mean, the entire month, it's a lot. I mean, but also it saves you a lot in terms of effort, right? If you want to, if we're going to develop something from scratch without using AI, we also spend a lot of time. So you need to do like a calculation in terms of pros and cons, right?
Mhm.
But
Per
in
month is about $450 or $500, right?
yeah, yeah,
Probably.
yeah, you need
Yeah.
to, for
No, actually,
example, you can buy
sorry,
in
it's
advance.
150 per month. Sorry, my brain thought it's 150 per month. Yeah, because it's five, right? 5 times 30 is 100. Yeah, 150. So I mean, it's not too bad for 150 per month, though.
Yeah, not too bad. You can just like, for example, pay in advance. You need to pay in advance. You need to add some
Yeah.
credits in advance, and you can control the use of this credit
Mm,
during the month. So, for example, I added $25, uh, and I spent like five yesterday.
mm,
But if I run out of credits, the Cloud Code will, I mean, will warn me that I need to add more credits. So there is no risk of like have at the end of the day have a, I mean, a cost of $1,000 because we need to add credits in advance, right, and use it. So yeah, let me go back here to the prompt. The contract is ready to use and has been set up with proper founder configuration. And here, if I type like cost, let me check that. I can see the total cost that I spent so far. So yeah, 24 cents of dollars. I mean,
um,
just to create a smart contract, and I can compare the total duration that, for example, yeah, I'm using it, but we are also talking meanwhile. But I mean, 1 minute, 1.5 minute calling the APIs, but the wall time, I mean, the time that I'm here focused on this window is like 12 minutes. So we can also like compare those time span here. So in 1.5 minutes, I spent 25 cents, right? But I have a contract created in 1.5 minutes, right? So it's also an advantage. It's also, I mean, we have some cost, but
Saves a lot of time.
Worth it.
let me check here. It's
Yeah.
how this contract was created. It looks good because, as you can see, the contract is using this smart contract is using the MPC core. That's like a library specific for COTI, using some specific methods. That's not like standard Solidity methods. It means that it's using correctly the agent to write the contract because I added all those context into the agent. So it looks really cool at first. I mean, I cannot see any error here. And let's ask now to deploy it. Let's say, okay, it's already done. Let me check here the output. Yeah. So yeah, deploy this contract to COTI test net. you have two different modes that you can use Claude Code. If you press Shift Tab, you can see here that you have all auto accept edits on, or I can just switch to plan mode 1. When I switch to plan mode 1, the Claude will first create a plan, so a to-do tasks, and then we'll wait for me to confirm that I want to run those tasks. It's really cool because you can see exactly uh, the I mean everything that the Claude Code will do in order to reach the goal. So otherwise, the Claude will just like start doing it and just ask you to confirm uh, the specific command. Okay, this is the plan. Because I switch it to to the plan mode. Create deployment script with proper Foundry deployment structure, deploy to COTI testnet, and also it's really cool because here I have exactly the correct RPC from COTI testnet, and also verify the deployment to see if the contract is deployed and get the contract address. So we have some requirements. Really cool because I have instructed the agent to use the legacy flag for compatibility. So all the, technical specific things we can add to the agent. And here I can see that agent um, used this information to create the plan. I will auto accept the edits. So let's start by creating the deployment script.
Will they also, by default, try to optimize for token use?
I'm not really sure behind the scenes if there is some like optimization process. I think so, right? But for example, I was testing some prompts yesterday, and that's the reason why I added, for example, in the prompt. Let's change it here a bit. Created the simplest possible. I noticed that if you create some, prompt that you are not specifying that you want something simple, the Claude will create something more complex to you. But I'm not sure
Might
it
overthink
happens
it.
all the time, or it's because of some, specific situation. But if you want to save tokens, you need to be very specific that you want something simple. So, for example, the Claude will create the test, all the unit tests for you. It also consumes a lot of tokens and everything that your project need, right, in order to run. So, and this is something that I noticed. I was asking things to the to Claude Code without saying, okay, keep it simple, right? And if you are starting creating something, it's best to keep it simple, right? So you can follow all the changes and things like that. Um, okay, so here I have the deployment setup complete. I can also check in the code probably. Yeah, I have here the script, the deploy script. Very simple, really good, looks good. And the network details also correct, the gas needed. So now I need to use a private key. Let me just I will stop sharing for 1 sec here. I will just like copy and
Why not?
paste one account that I created for this live stream. Let me go back here to the cursor. Yeah, here. Yeah, let me copy and paste a specific account for this. This is a new account, so it's not a problem to share the private key here. You can just create a new one and found this account using our Discord channel. We have exactly the step-by-step on how to create a new account and found it in previous live stream, so I will not like cover it again. But you can check our previous videos in the channel. So here I need the private key, right? In order to do that, here I will just provide it to this prompt here. So that the AI can use it to deploy. Don't do that if you are going to production, right? We are just prototyping here, vibe coding. But in production, you need to use like environment variables to set your private key.
While it's progressing, could you clear something up? As in, Cursor offers an agent mode to resolve things. You're running your agents from terminal, in this case with Claude.
Yeah.
Can Cursor select these agents as well for specific problems, or is that a different agent that we're talking about?
Do you mean yeah, or Cloud Code can select the agent based on your prompt, right? Depending on what you want to do, without needing to specify the agent that you want to use. Sorry, I don't know if exactly the question that you want.
I mean, in Cursor itself, Cursor has an agent mode.
Cursor. Yes, we can
yeah.
use cursor. Yes, the same way. Yeah, it's as I'm using even though I'm using cursor, I'm not using the cursor's agents, right?
No, because you're using these. Yeah, and I was
Yeah, I'm
wondering,
using
is there any relation if I use agent mode in Cursor to can select these as well to resolve things, for instance?
No, I actually disable. I mean the cursor agents here because I want to use just the Cloud code. In that case, as I'm using Cloud Code, I cannot see like the differences in code, right? The Cloud Code is changing all the files. I don't have all the control. If I use, for example, Cloud Cursor, for example, I have more control on the files being changed because I can see the differences between them. I have a more UI support, right? To see exactly the lines. I have like the color lines and things like that. Here is a bit different when I use Cloud Code because it's a command line prompt. Depending on the change, I can see the Cloud will print the changes in the terminal. But I mean, it's not the same thing as using the UI to compare and do things like that. So here I'm using the cursor just to open the terminal, but I'm not using any like agents here. I can also do exactly what I'm doing here with cursor using the agent mode, right? But it works differently, right? Yeah, I have the contract deployed. So I have provided the private key, and then apparently it works. So let me check in COTI scan. Let me go to the COTI scan here and check if you have the contract deployed correctly, right? Okay, probably I need to reshare the screen again. You are okay. Let me do that. Just a sec. Yep. Can you see? Yeah. So here I have the contract deployed. I have the last balance update. So one transaction, that is exactly the transaction that deployed this contract. So 3 minutes ago, right? So it's not fake. It actually deployed. Cool. Let me go back to the Claude again. That specific window here, right? So let me check the cost again. Okay, yeah, around 52 cents now. Okay, it gives me some anxiety, right? Where I'm coding to check the cost every minute. Okay, now we have the contract deployed. So 3 minutes of, 3 minutes working in terms of API, it's just 3 minutes. And now we can start creating the front end, right? Also, it creates the README file. I was checking here the resulting code. So the Claude created the README file for me, really cool, with the most, used commands, the contract itself, the deployment script, right? And also the test is empty because I in the prompt I was saying to not create the all the testings just to save more tokens. And now let's start with the front end. So the idea is to create a simplest, again, a simplest possible Next.js app that interacts with the smart contract created previously. Implement a way to write a single message to the blockchain. Implement a way to read and display the stored message. Integrate MetaMask for transaction signing. Before writing, encrypt the message using an ES key provided manually by the user. Use the decrypted value when displaying the message after reading. Keep the UI minimal and avoid adding unnecessary dependencies. So again, I'm very specific in terms of being simple as possible when creating the UI. I will create a reference here to the COTI front-end engineer. That's our our guy here, our friendly. Okay, COTI front end privacy agent. It's the exactly the name of the agent. Let me select that and copy and paste the prompt. Let's wait now until we have the front end ready. And also in real time, you can check the tokens. Yeah.
I like the different things it's
Counter
doing.
going up.
Sometimes it's wizarding.
Yeah. Really creative way to to wait. Okay, it's creating now. Let's check the. Oh, forgot to switch to the plan mode. Okay, but it's showing me here the to do list. Create package JSON with necessary dependencies. Set up Next.js. Okay. Set up the Next.js. Create the main page component. Create utility functions. And it's really fast, by the way, because it's running like locally, right? Even though it needs access to the internet to interact with the API, but it's running locally. Okay, create contract constants and the ABI definitions. Really cool. It's creating some libs for me.
It's nice that even for something terminal run, it still gives UI feedback. Let's say,
Yeah.
how far along in the process it is, including colors and everything.
Yeah, in a ASCII format.
Yeah.
Using
Yeah.
texts but it's cool. Yeah, not bad for a command line tool. Okay, create utility functions, create main page components. Wrote 21 lines to layout. And here another important thing, the Claude Code isn't ask me to run each task every time because I have here, a settings local JSON, and I can add to the list the commands that I want to bypass. So when the Claude asks me if I accept, the command in order to run it, it automatically adds this command to this list. As a allow list. So we have the deny list as well. So it's like they are safe commands, and the Claude code can run each one of them automatically without asking me permissions to that. But for the first time, it asked me, I mean, to confirm. And as it is a JSON file, I can also, copy and paste it to other projects and versioning this JSON file as well. So, okay, the terminal is crazy now. Okay. Okay, file has not been read yet. I don't need to interact. Okay, I have here something. Okay, great, good. Do you want to proceed? What is that? Okay, it's echoing some, probably the git ignore file. Yeah, exactly that. It's going to create the git ignore file. Okay, let me accept that. And meanwhile, yeah, I can check here the code created. So I have the code ethers here, some constants, yeah, to have like the contract address. Yeah, this is the good of working in the same context because, for example, I just asked to create the front end, but as I'm in exactly the same context, we already know the contract address because it was deployed previously. So let me check here. Probably.
The different agents are working in the same room as colleagues.
Yeah, and also, for example, if you use like V0 or, for example, Lovable, we are probably using it to create front-end stuff. So, and here you can use it to create your whole application, the smart contract as well. As you are running it in your terminal, you can run the commands directly into your terminal. So that's different when we are running on browser, and then basically you depends on the capability of the AI tool to run those commands for you. Here, if I have it installed locally, I can run it, so there is no problem. And also, I mean, probably it's more safe because I'm running everything locally, right? So I will expose last context as I need if I'm running it in cloud. And also, at the end of my project, I need to download the code from V0 Lovable and then extract the files here in my local machine if I want to versioning it, or I mean, if I want to change things on this project later. Okay, now the COTI frontend privacy agent has successfully created a complete Next.js application that interacts with your deployed simple message contract that includes exactly, I mean, the features that I asked for. And to run it, I need just to run the npm install and npm run dev. And also here is the here is the contract address. Let me check if the contract address is correct. Yeah, 0x95 and C4 here in the end. Okay, that's it. I will open a new terminal because I don't want to consume tokens just to install and run things here. So I will do exactly what the Claude is asking me. So I will execute npm install and then the npm run dev. Let's wait to see if it works, and then we can start interacting with our smart contract. It's already creating the node modules here. Okay.
This is an aside. Are you using an Alienware, Davi?
Sorry?
Are you using an Alienware?
You're doxxed.
Alienware PC.
These are PC. Yes, yes.
Alienware. Interesting. I haven't seen that in a while.
I'm like,
No, it's deducing from your prompt, as it's in the name.
Davi Alienware.
yeah. I have an Alienware here, and the name is specific,
Is your
right?
PC's name? Yeah.
It's a default name, and I just accept. Okay, I can use it.
Okay.
But it's interesting because I'm using Alienware, but in order to execute like the commands here, I'm using Ubuntu image, right? So I'm using the double SL here just to execute like the commands, like the npm install and things like that. So I'm using an isolated environment inside the Alienware, but the hardware is there, right, working for me.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We have everything installed now. Let me, okay, recap. Okay, I need to run the npm run dev. Okay, let's see. No errors so far. It's cool. First time that I can like run something without errors. Okay, probably I will need to reshare my screen again. Let me share my entire screen because now I need to switch. Okay.
Also, of course, now that you said it, something's going to go wrong.
Yeah, let's pray. Okay. We have now, okay, a good page. Oh, it's dangerous. Okay. I can like paste my private key in the browser. Okay, I have my COTI simple message, the app with the network. Network is COTI testnet, testnet COTI IO RPC. I already connected to the testnet. Let me connect my wallet now. Okay, not sure if it's failing or not. Yeah, I'm clicking on. Probably I need to paste my private key. I asked to integrate with MetaMask, but I'm not sure why he's asked me to provide my. Okay, let me do that just to test the solution. Okay, I think that's the correct wallet. And now I have an option to recover my ES key. That's my encryption key that I need to use to sign messages on COTI. I will create on that. Let's see the result. Okay, I have my ES key recovered. Which okay, that's exactly the encryption key for this account. It's working. And now I have the option to encrypt and write a message. Let's say hello. Click on it and write a message. Oh, I have instructions, right? Okay, write a message. Okay. Let me check here in the smart contract if something happened. Yeah, 20 seconds ago, a contract call. But I think this contract call is not the right message. Yeah, let me test the read and decrypt message. Okay, it's working. Maybe some delay because as I recover my ES key, one transaction usually happens to recover, right, my ES key. And the second one, okay, because, yeah, forget about it. When I click on generate ES key, it sends a transaction, but to a different contract, not the same one that I'm monitoring here. So, okay, this transaction here was exactly the transaction that's is signing the message. So as you can see, there is no way to, I mean, to see the message here because it's encrypted. And that's the whole point of using COTI. And I can't see the message that encrypted here. Also, let me just like change it, right? Encrypt and write the message again. And I can probably see another transaction here, right? This is the contract. Yeah, 70 seconds ago. So yeah, each time I sign and send a message, it's sending to the correct contract. And then now I can, I mean, retrieve here the new message. I was expecting Cloud Code to create some integration with MetaMask, but the only one was like a button here that I can click and connect. But there is no point because I'm like connecting it using my private key. So what I can do now, I can't ask the the Cloud Code to add MetaMask integration again, so that instead of providing my private key here, I can just connect my wallet and connect with my MetaMask. Oh, let me log in here. Probably that was the reason. Let's check again. Let me clean here this field. No, it's not calling the MetaMask. Yeah, okay. So yeah, what we can do now, we can ask, go back here. Let me rename this to Cloud Code. And okay, add MetaMask integration so that I can use my wallet instead of like providing my private key. Oh, let me check if I can switch to plan mode and see the plan before start like changing the code. It's reading now the files to understand the context. So based on my analysis of the current code, I can see that, okay. Oh, here is the plan. This is a good thing, right? And it's good to learn as well because you can check all the plan. So plan to add MetaMask integration, update the libcode ETS, add connect MetaMask function to connect with MetaMask, cool. Create COTI wallet from MetaMask. Yeah, I'm not want to create a new wallet, but let's see. Keep existing AI key generation functionality, right? Replace private key input section with MetaMask connect button. Cool. Add MetaMask connection state management, update wallet connection flow, remove private key state, and add account change and disconnect handling. So I can accept or I can manually approve each one. I will accept them all. Here I can see like some code changes, but I cannot, I mean, do anything here. Just like I can check all the changes. Here the same. Well, creating new methods. Oh, 2000 tokens. Referencing a few constants. Okay, cool. Changing the state. Checking MetaMask status. I need to replace the wallet connection sections with MetaMask integration. Oh, cool. And update instructions. Okay, section, connect your MetaMask wallet, right? Or use the private key. Probably I will have both options, right? Claude. Oh, 5,000 tokens. Let's wait. Okay, perfect. I have successfully integrated here what I have implemented. So, okay, enhanced some COTI libs, added some methods, updated the page, and also CSS. Okay, new user experience, features maintained. Okay, really cool. Let me run this code again. And refresh the page to test the new version. Yeah, it's compiling because it's the first time I'm running it, so it takes more time. Okay, I have some errors here. Let me check. Oh, hydration failed. Doesn't match the handler on the expected. Let me copy and paste that. Okay. Also, let me check if I can't connect MetaMask. Probably not. Okay.
This is all for the MetaMask integration, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the first version, it created like a version, but it worked well. I can use like my account, but not like the best solution since I need to provide my private key. So what I want to do is replace the private key um, and use my MetaMask wallet to sign message and send it to the blockchain. Okay, hydration error fixed. Let me check it again. I will run the code. Refresh the page to start compiling.
So MetaMask is an extension. It's a plugin.
Yeah.
For your browser.
Exactly, for your browser.
So will the page run its own detection on which? Yeah. So will the page run its own detection to see which browser it's in, so it reaches out to the extension in a compatible way? Or do we need to predefine which browser we're
No, you don't need to predefine the browser.
developing for?
Yeah, what happens is that when we install MetaMask, it injects an object into the browser context. And basically, when we try to connect with MetaMask, like with a button, for example, it will check if you have that context injected in the browser context. But doesn't matter if you're using like Chrome or Edge or Brave. It works exactly the same. You don't need to, I mean, to prepare for it in advance. The only requirement here is to have the object injected in the browser. So basically, exactly what happens when we install the MetaMask, we are installing it in your browser, and it adds an object to the page, right? And if I'm creating like a MetaMask integration, I will be able um, to read that object and then interact with the MetaMask. I can send instructions to, for example, to change wallet. I can send instructions to change the network. So in that case, we want to use like the COTI blockchain. So we need to send like an instruction to MetaMask to switch like the network. If you are working with Ethereum, for example, before you need to switch to COTI blockchain to COTI network. So you have like a list of specific instructions that you can send in order to interact with MetaMask. Same way as sending transactions. So you can create them all in the client side and then pass it to the MetaMask, and the MetaMask you send it to the blockchain. So you have a man in the middle here to to work, to sign message and things like that. And that's the reason why using MetaMask you don't need to provide your private key, because the point is, if I need to sign a message, I just need to send the message to the MetaMask, and the MetaMask you will use my private key internally, right, without exposing it, to sign it and send it to the blockchain. So it's a different flow, right? Of course, it works if I provide my private key directly, but it's not safe, right? Since I'm copy and pasting it in a browser, right? That I don't know, I don't trust it. Okay, so I'm connected to the COTI testnet. Let me connect my MetaMask wallet. Not sure if it will work that time. Nothing happens, right? Yep, no errors. Yeah, because, okay, cool. It already, let me check here the MetaMask account. It already reads my default account here and connected here. Okay, okay. I'm assuming that that time the page is using my wallet, right? Because this is exactly the wallet that I'm connected here, right? Uh, I don't have option to generate the ASCII now, but as I have the ASCII, I will just like set it here. Okay, let me see if I can write something here. Okay, XYZ. I have the option to set my private key as well, but now for some reason it's not enabling. Yeah, the option to encrypt and write message is not enabled. Let me see if I have something in the terminal. Okay, read and write. Let me test it again. Connect. Set something is that. This is a testnet application. The ASCII is required for both encryption and decryption. Okay. Let me ask the Claude code again. Nothing happens when I click on encrypt. You write message. I will test with the private key again. Yeah, okay, with private key it works. Something missing when I connect with the MetaMask, probably. Yeah. Okay, let me clean this up. Okay, now the button is enabled, but yeah, I paste my private key here. Let me check the answer from Claude Code. Okay, now he's changing the page to create a hybrid solution where MetaMask is used for account management and network switching, but we still need private key for COTI privacy features. Let's see the result. Finished, enhanced integration, update user flow, improved UI, click connect to MetaMask when prompt export. No, that's not the right solution, right? Um, okay, I don't want to export my own private key from MetaMask. Instead, I want to connect and use my MetaMask account to sign the message and send the transaction to blockchain. Yeah, I want to connect with my own account instead of, exporting. I understand you want to use MetaMask for signing transactions without exposing your private key. However, there's a fundamental limitation. Explain. Oh, let me check if I can modify the approach to work with MetaMask signing while handling the COTI privacy requirement. Oh, it's searching on the web. COTI blockchain MetaMask integration without private key exports. 2025. Why? Perfect.
So is this missing from its agent context?
Yeah, yeah. Now it's trying to, yeah. When he needs something new, he tries to search on the internet to get some information there. But actually now it started hallucinating, like creating a ethers, referencing the ethers directly. But that's not the point because we need to use code ethers, right? Let me wait until we have it finished.
How long would a MetaMask integration take with that, Claude?
Yeah, MetaMask integration. It's something not like complicated in terms of code integration. We have a lot of time when working with the AI, we have some confusion because of the encryption key. That's something different. For example, in Ethereum, you don't need an encryption key, and sometimes AI confuses like the private key with the encryption key, uh, and also the library itself. Because for code, you need to use the COTI ethers and not the ethers. So that's exactly the point where we start getting some problems when asking the AI to create code, specifically because of that part of the encryption key uh, and the private key. So with the MetaMask here, I mean, it's not something very complicated in terms of integration. This is something that you can add to the agent at the end. For example, we are noticing that we have some confusion when integrating with MetaMask. We can, I mean, give more context to the front-end engineer, even though I have added some examples here. Let me check on how to, yeah, how to set the ASCII or get the default provider, ASCII generation. I have some context here as well. But let's see the final result here. Sometimes we need like to, I mean, spend more time to reach the final result. Sometimes it's we can get it working the first time. Okay, one click, no private key. MetaMask prompts for signature. It stores the plain text, retrieves stored message from blockchain. Let's test this version to see if you have something new to test. Um, I'm not confident that it will work that time because it's hallucinating more now regarding the Ethers library.
So could it be that the history is too long in this case?
Yeah,
Would it help to set up a fresh
maybe,
context?
maybe. Okay, I have the MetaMask connected with my default account. Okay, but it's not asking for the my ES key. Let's see. Yeah. No, it's like hallucinating a lot now. Yeah, let me do something different now. Okay, we already saw how it works using private key. I just want to show you how it works using MetaMask. But in order to do that, let me try just to ask to set, let's say, I need to provide the AS key manually in order to sign the message. This is something that's missing now. It was working before, but now you are right. Even in MetaMask mode, the smart contracts expects encrypted IT string parameters, not plain text. Let me fix this by modifying. Okay. Yeah, this is the last step. If the app can't get my ASCII and use it, signed message, I will be able to send it. Because now the MetaMask integration is working, right? It's like getting my connected account, and but now I need to provide my ASCII. Okay, change the codes. Okay, let's wait. I will stop here because I need to run it again after the change. Okay, encryption. Cool. New MetaMask integration. Let's check the result again. And refresh the page. Okay, switch to testnet, connect MetaMask. Connected. I can set my my yes key now. Cool. Okay, still not able to write message because the button is not enabled. Uh, I'm not sure if you can have better solutions from this point. So let me just ask to enable the button, maybe something more simple. I mean, after AS,
Force enable?
actually, I can try to change the code directly here to force it, but not sure if it will work because it needs to use the AS key um,
Mm.
anyway to sign the message. You need to enable encrypt write message.
Well, that and usually a vibe coder wouldn't manually adjust that. So I have to assume it would be
Mhm.
done via prompting as well.
Mhm. Yeah, it's changing the state. Yeah, the disabled state here. It's a lot of rules. Okay. I need to refresh again the page to start compiling the new version. All right, switch, connect the MetaMask. Okay, it's not working, but let me use the private key again here and connect. Yeah, and then the button will be enabled.
So it was the MetaMask integration.
Yeah, the MetaMask integration basically is here because it's connecting with my account, right? It's using my default one. Let me check if the transaction was sent. Yeah, 27 seconds ago. Yeah, it works, but it's probably using my private key now, right? Instead of my even though I set both, I have the MetaMask and also the private key. Yeah, yeah, I will probably need to. I mean, that's the problem if you try like to create something and then start like asking to fix things, and sometimes the AI start hallucinating a bit. uh, Sometimes best to start from scratch again, and I mean give the prompt and to have like
Yeah,
the new app.
it does
It's
seem like it didn't put in the MetaMask integration into account, and only
yeah,
thought about only created it so that you can only add the private key yourself.
yeah, yeah. Let me check here the current cost. So okay, $3 $75.71. Yeah, let me show you. Yeah, I mean it can take like longer if you want to decide to do it from scratch, but I also have an existing solution that I created using the Cloud Code exactly the same way, using exactly the same prompt, but it gave me a different solution, a more simple one. Let me show you here just to cover that part of the MetaMask integration. Let me stop and select here the solution. I think it's that one here. I will share my screen again. Let me select here the right one. Okay, that's one here. Let me click. Okay, npm run dev, because here I have exactly this kind of app that connects with the MetaMask using my account to send a message. Yeah, as you can see, like different different solution using the same prompt. And the interesting part here is that the first time that I access this page, it prompts me to onboard my account. And yeah, so that time, instead of copy and pasting the ASCII, it can recover the ASCII for me. For example, here I have the ASCII recovered from my account, and I can, write a message. And now that's exactly what I'm expecting from the previous prompts to ask me to sign, right, a message. That's exactly the format it looks like, right? Something really weird because it's encrypted. So I will confirm it. And next, I need to send that message to the blockchain to confirm and store that message there, right? So cool. I have also the transaction here. And now I will read it from the blockchain. Let me zoom in a bit. Exactly the same message. If I try to change the ASCII, for example, to something different, you can see that I cannot read the message. So that's the whole point, why, right? Uh, so let me go back here to the B letter, right? So this key here is really important if you want to encrypt something because you need it. The point is, even though we are connected with a different account, if I share this encryption key with someone else,
And they can
they
see it.
can use it to decrypt my message, right? So that's important thing, right? As you can see here, if I change it, right, and then I change it back. So yeah, that was like the demo that I want to show today. Just to make it short, because we can like continue using the Cloud Code to ask it to change things on the page. Sometimes we're lucky because we can just use the same prompt and get the answer in the first try. But sometimes we need to continue interacting with the Cloud so we can have it done. And also sometimes we need to start it from scratch when we spend more than 1 hour trying to get it right. It's best to start from scratch, right? But it's exactly
Yeah.
the final solution, how it looks like, integrating with the MetaMask. So we basically created all our contract using the Cloud Code, and it worked well because at least the contract it worked using like the first prompt without any, I mean, any other like uh, fix. Basically, I just need to provide my private key in order to deploy the contract. But in the case of the front end, you could see, for example, some problems doing the coding that you need to fix. And of course, at some point, it started hallucinating. That's the problem that we have today with most of the AIs, right? When we spend a lot of time in the same context. So but yeah, I mean, it's a way that you can use the cloud code to help you with that. Let me yeah, I already closed the previous one, but we spent, I mean, $3, right? I don't remember exactly,
Yes,
something like that.
3.7.
Yeah, three
Yeah,
dollars.
to create. I mean, we are using it for 1 hour, 1.5 hour. It's if you are intensive using it, it's something that you can expect spend in terms of money using the AI. But if you get it right at the first prompt, you probably consume less tokens. But yeah, that's the thing. And we are reaching the end of the live stream now. I have some questions here to answer regarding that. I will first ask them, and then we can like move to the end. So one thing here, one question here is uh, in terms of Foundry, right? What's Foundry and why use it instead of, for example, Remix? That's a browser solution, or Hardhat. So in that case here, Foundry, I can say is like a professional tool in to develop smart contracts. It's super fast, and also it gives a full control. If you compare it with the Remix, for example, I can I can show here the link, right? remixethereum.org. We can also use Remix to do your work, but it's something more, I mean, you don't have like full control as we have. You don't have like all the tools, available tools that you have with the Foundry. But Remix is a great for beginners, and the Foundry is better for folks who like, I mean, scriptable automation, speed, a more pro tool, right? And also, you can use Foundry in command line to build, to deploy code. So if you're using Claude, Claude code, you can combine it with the Foundry. Both of them are command line tools. So it's the best choice. But for very beginners, maybe Remix is a good tool to start, right? Uh, let me leave the page here. Okay, what are Cloud Code agents and how they help? They help today. I mean, agents is so they are basically like your copilot, right? Uh, I cannot say you are training them because they are markdown files, but you can reuse the same context when you need to or create something and reference then in your prompt, right, to give that task to a specific agent. But they are not something that are running or they are being trained. You need to provide all the context, as I mentioned here. It's like a plain text, and you need to add the context here. So it helps a lot in terms of isolating. I mean, the responsibilities here for the backend. I used the blockchain engineer, and for front end, I used the front end engineer, and I can have different instructions, right? Um, and that's the cool of using these code agents. So can the agents do all the coding for me? Yeah, actually not all of it. And honestly, we wouldn't want that because I can say that probably 80% you can get you 80% like fast in coding. But I mean, you still need to read the code. I mean, test it as you did. I mean, in the previous example, because if something went wrong, we need to read the code or, I mean, to understand what is happening so that you can give instructions to the Claude to fix it, right? Or you can just like copy and paste the error to help with that. But yeah, sometimes you can have 100% of the code created. In the smart contract example, you reach like 100% of the code created with AI with no errors. but most of the time you get like 80%, 80 or 90% done, and you need to, I mean, interact more with the AI to get it done. So uh, let's see. What's the difference about coding on COTI compared to other blockchains? The big one is privacy. COTI supports encrypted data types and other more advanced cool, I mean, things like MPC, which lets you build more secure applications. As you could see in this example, like signing a private message and read this private message from the code. This is one of the most simple examples. So if you are doing anything sensitive, I mean, COTI is a good solution, but you can also use COTI if you want to deploy a standard contract with no privacy. It works, right? You can use COTI for that. But to get the best, I mean, from the COTI blockchain, you need to use like privacy features, right? But it works. If you want to deploy a standard ERC20 token, it works. And the same way that if you want to deploy a privacy ERC20 tokens, that's the best, I mean, use case in that sense. But yeah, I mean, if you need something or you are dealing with some sensitive data, COTI it's like a good choice in that way. Can I build a real app just using Claude and Foundry? Yeah, for sure. You can. You totally can. Uh, I mean, Claude will help you to write the code, and Foundry will help you to test and deploy the contract, right? Foundry is a framework for smart contracts, right? It's not like a front end or, I mean, framework. So it helps you building your contract, testing your contract, deploying your contract. You can also create like a local host blockchain using Foundry, so you can test things locally. Uh, but yeah, you can, I mean, use Claude to create a real app with no problem. Of course, you need to think about all the, I mean, security concerns that you already covered in previous live streams regarding doing that if you want to create a real application to deploy to production, right? Okay, that's basically it. I don't have any other questions here. So that's basically all that I want to show you today in terms of using the Cloud Code and using the Foundry and how you can actually create new agents here by just adding new agents here to the agents folder or asking the Cloud to create a new agent for you, and the Cloud will create the markdown specifying exactly the roles, what these agents need to do uh, using the Cloud CLI. And we also was able to deploy to COTI testnet using Claude. And we have some issues while creating the front end, but at the end of the day, we was able to at least sign and read a privacy message. And I also show you how to it looks like when you integrate with the MetaMask. So you can sign your message using your MetaMask account instead of course, providing your private key. That's not a good approach if you want to sign messages online. That's it, guys, that I have on my side. Not sure if you want to say something before we end this live stream.
I'm good from my side.
Okay.
Oh, good. Yeah.
I would say thank you, Davi, of course, for the session.
Absolutely.
And of course, I'd like to invite everyone for our next session tomorrow,
Yeah.
same time, same place, and where we will be building a Telegram bot to interact with COTI using make.com. Henry will host that session together with Percival.
Awesome.
Friday night build.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Until next time.
Thank you.
So
Thank you very
keep
much,
coding.
Davi. Thank you for
Stay
your time. Stay calm.
Bye bye.
Stay Cody. Bye.